Radhe Radhe. Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Radha Hari Mandir.
I fell.
Welcome. It's like your rest going on here. To Shri Radha Hari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauri Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinama Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakama.
Dandavat Pranam, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Ardalya Madhurya Gunashtayuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirasam Namami Dinantinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Pada Jagataika Vriddhi Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaura Preshthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragya Keshava Iti Namine Ati Bhaktya Charitraya Svashmitanam Chaparine Jiva Dukhe Sadartaya Shri Nama Premadayine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दैने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमध्य श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्ते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनपारिणे रूपानुगं विरुद्धापो सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे। नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भारसम्बोधे पदं पूजायते नमः। ओ भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगमनायते गौराविर्भावभूमेष्ठं निर्देष्ठान सजनप्रिय वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरध्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जयतां सुरतो पाण्डो मम मन्दं मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वं परं भोजो राधा मदनमोहन दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमदं श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठानिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भे वंशीवततस्थितः कर्षं वेणुस्वरैर्गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः। वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृन्द। चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहाकामाग्निनिर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम्। आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मोत्स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम्। हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलं खलु नस्त्येव 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 गतिरन्यथा।
Kripa Kori.
Gurudev Boro Kripa Kori, page 33.
पंचरोगे हरता केमने भजिब কাঁদিয়া কাঁদিয়া তোমার চরণে পড়িয়াছি সুদেবা গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গোরা মাঝে ভুলে দিয়াছ সাথ। জয় গুরুদেব জয় গুরুদেব গুরুদেব ও জয় প্রভুপাদ প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় गुरुदेव की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय बाल गुरु वर्ग की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय। Ohi Vaisnava Thakur, page 39. Vaishnava Thakur, Doyalo Sadhana, Edase Karuna Kori, Diyapada Chaya Shudhe Amare, Omaro Charana Dhori. Jaya Sata Sangha Deho Hera Mare Boshechi Sanghe Royashi
As I was reading and meditating on this bhajan while we were singing it, I'm looking at the qualification and the quality of the person that Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur is praying to. Again and again, the idea manifests what our Srila Gurudev has told us 1,000 times. Only someone who has something can give that thing to you. So in this second verse, he's saying, praying to the Vaisnava, help me to subdue the 6 urges and purify my 6 faults. If they're going to help us to subdue the 6 urges and purify our 6 faults. What are the 6 urges? Vacho vegam, manasa vegam, krodha vegam, jihva vegam, udara vegam, upashta vegam. The urge of speech, the urges of the mind, the urges of anger, the urges of the tongue, the urges of the belly, the urges of the genitals. If they cannot control these, then how can they help us to control them ourselves? And here, Chaya dosha shodhi. Please purify my 6 faults. What are the doshas, the faults? Atyahara, prayashascha, prajalpo, niyamagraha, janasangascha, lolyamcha. These are faults in terms of what is unfavorable for bhakti. So over-consuming anything in this material world. It doesn't only mean overeating, it means over-consuming through the medium of our senses. Prayasha means over-endeavoring for material things. Prajalpa means speaking about nonsense subject matters. Niyamagraha means either under-adherence or over-adherence to the rules and regulations of scriptures, which becomes unfavorable for bhakti. Pratyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangas. Associating with worldly-minded persons. Janasanga means associating with mundane subject matters. And lolyam means greed for material things and material achievements. So who can help to purify me from these tendencies? Someone who does not have those tendencies. If they possess it themselves, then how can they purify me of these things? And then, on top of that, if they don't possess these things themselves, no.
How can they help?
Yeah, in this case, they must not possess these tendencies in order to help me get free from these tendencies. And then the positives are Chaya Satsanga, 6 kinds of association. What is that? Dadati, Pratigannati, Guhyamakyati, Prichiti, Bhumte, Bhojayate, Chaiva, Shadvidam, Pritilakshanam. All the 6 symptoms of loving exchange between the person who needs help and the person who is giving help, the pure devotee. They can give us that association. So, again and again, this theme is coming up, that who can purify? These days, it's become very kind of easy. One devotee wrote to me recently, and they were a little bit concerned that so much lackadaisicalness has been applied to the path of bhakti. So many concessions have been given. Our Srila Gurudev said, if you're making concessions in your bhakti, then you will, in your sadhana, then you will actually have concessions in the results. That's why Srila Gurudev again and again emphasized pure bhakti. Where one chooses to associate, of course that's fine, but we should understand that if we associate with persons whose hearts are full of inebrities, then that also might come to us, especially if we're putting our complete faith in them. If we see our association is also like ourselves, but encouraging us, instead of putting our full faith there, we should put our full faith in the lotus feet, in the transcendental instructions of the pure devotees. Then we can actually help each other, because no one is claiming authority. But like yesterday we were speaking, yad acharati shreshtas, whatever that person on the higher position, or the position of authority is doing, this will trickle down into the followers, no matter what situation, whether it's political, governmental, family, religious institutions, or anything. And you will see that if someone is not first class, transcendental nature, then within the society you will find so many difficulties manifesting. So our Srila Prabhupada, again and again, our Gurudev, our Guru Varga, all of our Shastras, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, especially Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, very boldly, very strongly emphasized the necessity of taking shelter only of that person who has no attraction to anything of this material world, who has no tendency to fall down because they are firmly bound to the lotus feet of Krishna. So when I was seeing this, yes, Krishna is yours. You have the power to give Krishna. Who can trap Krishna? Who can capture Krishna within their heart and give Krishna? Only someone who has pure love and affection for Krishna. As much as any Brajabasi means real, eternal associate of Krishna. So that person must be an Anuragi, a Jan, a deep, dear associate of Krishna, whose heart is overflowing with love and affection for Krishna. So much so that it is impossible for Maya to even take their attention for one moment. Maya cannot even cross the Viraja. What to speak of? Viraja is the dividing line between the material and spiritual world. It's not a line, it's like a massive ocean. Maya cannot even cross that. What to speak of going beyond Vaikuntha, beyond Ayodhya, beyond Dwarka, beyond Mathura, beyond into Braj, and pull anyone's mind from the lotus feet of Krishna. This is absolutely impossible. So when we're looking at these qualities of the personalities that Bhaktivedanta Thakur is praying to, if we want to receive the results that Bhaktivedanta Thakur is praying for, then we must approach those kinds of personalities who can award those transcendental results and who can remove those anarthas from our hearts, because they are completely free of any anarthas, completely pure and full of all transcendental, I'm just thinking, qualities. I was thinking at the moment Srila Govinda Maharaj was talking about Krishna praying for putting the red stuff on Srimati Radhika's lotus feet. I was like, full of all transcendental stuff. Red stuff. That is those saffron particles. So, now we will pray for the mercy of Srila.
That's from a lecture, by the way, called Radha Prem Makes Krishna Mad. And Srila Govinda Maharaj is trying to express what footlack is. And then he's like, do you know what alta is? And he goes, red stuff. And then he starts calling out as if he's Krishna calling out to Srimati Radhika, oh Radhe, Radhe, I have red stuff to put on your feet. I have such sweet red stuff. So that's what he was thinking of. Very sweet lecture. Radha Prem makes Krishna mad.
It is such an amazing lecture. When we drive long distance and it's just before Radhashtami, we're listening to it in the car and it doesn't matter. It's like completely occupies our attention. It's so fascinating the way that he is speaking and his depth of connection to that subject matter. So we highly recommend it. Srila Govinda Maharaj speaking, Radha Prem makes Krishna mad. They put it in a booklet form, but when you read the booklet versus hearing the person, you just miss the energy, the enthusiasm, and the connectedness. So it's highly recommended. Transcendental listening material. I don't know, they must have it on video too. That would even be better.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, Rupa Goswami. Vishaya Vasana Rupa Chitera Vikara. Page 48.
And if someone doesn't have a songbook, what should they do?
If someone does not have a songbook, is Jiva Pavana Prabhu there? Jiva Pavana Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Very kindly, very mercifully post the bhajans in the comment section of the thread. So just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu, and there you will find the bhajans along with their translations, and also followed by so much nectarian commentaries on those subject matters by so many different acharyas. So don't miss out on that nectar and that mercy.
He put up a lecture from purebhakti.com, Vaisnava Ninda, criticizing a Vaisnava. So, to go with, I think it was during Vaishnava Thakur, all of the giving up these things.
So thank you.
First word, Vishaya Vasana, Visaya Vasana.
Page 48.
Sorry I interrupted you.
Just have to reset this. 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Oh.
Chaitanya Namo
नदिया गोधु में नित्यानंद महाजन। I don't know what page it is here. Page 163. Nadiya Godu mein Nityananda Mahajan. Sundaralala Sachiradulala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtaname, page 360?
Let's see if we are in
No, 361. Close. 360 is Gurudev Kripa Karke.
And again, if you don't have a song book, just scroll for the latest post and you'll find that Jiva Pavana Prabhu is doing the extraordinary seva of posting the bhajans and kirtans and nectar so that we can all join together.
Okay. Shri Sachinandana Gaur Hari Ki Sundaralala Sachinandana Nachat Shri Hari Kirtaname Nachat Shri Hari Kirtaname Nachat Shri Hari
Sundar Lala Shakshiratu Lala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan Mein. Sundar Lala Bhare Chandana Tilaka Marohar Bhare Chandana Tilaka Marohar Adaka Shobhe Kapurane Sundar Lala Shakshiratu Lala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan Mein. Shri Chura Darshani Rare Omat Purnamana Hiya Pardore Bhagiranati Kalpambar Shobhe Bhagiranati Kalpambar Shobhe कोई गावत है राधा कृष्ण कोई गावत है हरि गुणगान कोई गावत है कोई गावत है राधा कृष्ण कोई गावत है हरि
Page 134? I'm not sure.
Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Page 343.
Right. Sanskrit button. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam. Oh Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Sanatan Kalipalika Samha Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki
Radhanam Padama Sukadai. I think this is one of Jiva Pavana Prabhu's favorites, if I remember correctly. What page?
It's in the Hindi section, somewhere after 361, maybe like
It's
360.
362.
There we go.
Then you can go into that
It's too low.
one. So do it then.
Hare
Hari Hari Bol. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nitti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Prabhishtam Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Shri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. In the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam, in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Prabhishtam Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga, Gaudiya, Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of you who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Okay, I just saw, oh, Devaki. As much as I love these online get-togethers, cannot wait until one day you're both back in my living room in person. We have really beautiful kirtans at Devaki and Punya's house, and gulab jamun, and so many other. It's just beautiful. They just pack the house with so many devotees, and everyone just chants into the night at the top of their lungs. Beautiful kirtans every year. I can't wait until we also are able to go back. So, some question came today, and it was in relation to what we were speaking about yesterday. And so before we continue going beyond Vaikuntha, I would like to endeavor to address these questions. Because it is in relation to the practical, real application of the process of bhakti, and also the doubts that come up naturally as one is endeavoring on the path of bhakti. So we see that so many people, when they're young, they have so much enthusiasm, so much energy, they want to do something different, so they join the Hare Krishnas, they give up everything, they devote their full life in service, and then after some time, the necessities of the human form, not the spiritual form, but the human form, start to manifest. So already the eating and sleeping was there, but now the requirement comes, I need to enter into household life. So then one takes a step back from all of that full-time dedication and enters into household life, and then they become absorbed more and more and more, as we told yesterday, Gita Samsar. But because they didn't have the pre-required education, they end up having a very difficult time trying to get a good job because they don't really have the requirements set up for them, like university education, degrees, and all of these things, and so they end up struggling quite a bit in their material life. And so the question, in essence, is how do we reconcile the idea of joining or coming to the lotus feet of Sri Guru, engaging all of one's energy in the service of Guru, and this idea of going from brahmachari to grihastha to vanaprastha to sannyas. This brahmachari to grihastha seems like there's something missing in the varnashram network. Excuse me, I just have to turn down the there's notification volume. Okay. So it seems that there's something missing in the varnashram dharma network where one doesn't have the skills necessary to be able to live a comfortable material life once they have come to the path of Krishna Bhakti. In so many other paths, we find that it might even be that when one goes into that kind of lifestyle, means the not completely dedicated to Krishna lifestyle or dedicated in their dharmic path, that they flourish materially. Whereas it seems that on the path of Krishna Bhakti, it's a little bit difficult. The warnings have been given in advance. Not always, but our Gurudev certainly gave the warnings. Don't trust that person who's wearing saffron, who's carrying a Bhagavatam under their arm. They will cheat you out of everything. It means everything material. And what will they put in its place? Krishna, spiritual. When one begins to turn toward Krishna, as we spoke the other day, there's a small little a meme of Krishna pulling someone by the hair. Prabhupada says, when someone turns toward Krishna, he won't let them go and he will forcibly drag them, even if he has to, by their hair, toward perfection. And then Krishna himself says, when one turns toward me and starts the process of surrendering unto me, I will fulfill their desires, but in such a way that they will never want those things again, their material desires. And they will become completely penniless, and all of their attachments will leave them, and they will have no one to turn to except for me. So from an external material perspective, this seems quite harsh, quite intense and quite heavy. But from a spiritual perspective, this is the greatest affection, the greatest kindness, the greatest mercy. So, yes?
I don't know where you're going to go with this, but I was...
Wherever you guide me. When Sudevi adds, I go with the flow.
No, I'm just remembering our childhood Sudama tape.
Mm-hmm.
And they read directly from Krishna book. And so there's that really sweet voice who's narrating the pastime, and he's saying that when Krishna really is giving his mercy to someone, he takes everything, he removes it, because for some it's degradation. It will be the cause of their degradation. But when somebody is spiritually emancipated and they become fully surrendered to Krishna, then it's actually the cause of their great fortune. They're able to use it in service. So where do you draw the line when you see wealth coming to someone? You might think, oh, that means Krishna's not pleased with me. Or sometimes people get wealth. Like one time we were in Las Vegas, and we went into this really, really big house. But it was a devotee couple, like Indian devotees. And I said, oh, you're so fortunate. And I was thinking that they've had Krishna in their lives their whole life. And they said, yes, but it's only a house, it's only money. And I said, oh, I wasn't talking about your house, I was talking about your birth. So I'm just wondering how do you accommodate for that? Because we see Srila Prabhupada was poor seemingly his whole life. And the moment he takes sannyas and leaves and goes to America, he's, a millionaire.
So we have been dovetailed.
Okay, see, I didn't know where you were going.
No, it's good. So we will address this and everything all together. So Yudhishthira Maharaj asks Krishna a very interesting question. He gives him a request, which is very strange because most devotees don't request these kinds of things. But Yudhishthira Maharaj requested of Krishna, please give me this benediction. Krishna said yes. And he said, make me the wealthiest person in the entire world. And Krishna was like, that's a very interesting question. Usually my devotees don't want anything, they don't ask for anything. Why are you asking for the greatest wealth? And he said, because everyone's afraid to approach you because they know that you make them penniless. So I want people to see that your devotee can also have everything, materially, and so that they don't neglect you and they don't disrespect you, that they will love you and serve you. And so Yudhishthira Maharaj's intention of asking that of Krishna was so that people would serve Krishna. So when does Krishna provide all material facility? With Sudama, Sudama had no material desire whatsoever. He was akinchan, without anything, and nishkinchan, without any material desires. He only wanted to serve and please Krishna. So whether wealth comes into the hand of someone like that or not, it does not matter, because they only see their Ishtadev, their Lord everywhere, and see everything in relation to the Lord and how to use everything in the service of the Lord. So it is true, Prabhupada became a millionaire. He had thousands of followers collecting money constantly and made so many temples around the world and was traveling, and any time he could say, do this, do that, do that. He had so much external power and potency to be able to deal with money. But money was not his issue. Service to Krishna was his issue. And according to Shastra, according to scripture, when one surrenders exclusively unto Krishna, then all facility comes. Lakshmi Devi is waiting to serve that person because they're going to engage Lakshmi in the service of Krishna. All of the mystic cities, mystic powers, liberation itself, everything is waiting with folded hands to be somehow utilized in seva, to serve that person who is exclusively devoted to Krishna. For someone who just stays in one place and deeply dives into sadhan bhajan, taking shelter of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, minimum of 1 lakh of Harinam every day, Gurudev said, you will see within a few days, everything will be manifested, you will be maintained. But you won't do it because you have no faith, he said. So, yes. Why is that doing that? Excuse me, let me try to turn down this volume again. There we go. So, Sudama received everything. But why would Krishna give him that? Because he's Krishna's pure devotee. Because he knows that it won't affect him in the slightest. On the other hand, those who have come to the path of devotion, but who have made aparad, nam aparad, Vaisnava aparad, dham aparad, seva aparad, so many different aparads, they can also attain the result of those aparads. What is the result? The increase of the desire for material wealth, kanaka. The increase of the desire for sense gratification in all of its different forms, this is known as kamini, and the increase of the desire for name, fame, position, and power, this is known as pratishtha. This is the result of nam aparad. This is the result of so many different kinds of aparads. So we can see in ourselves that if we have come to the path of devotion and have begun to dedicate our life in the service of Guru and Krishna, and subsequently to that, we have chosen to go back out into the material world and live in the material world in an absorbed way in the material energy, we should understand that this is actually a misfortune. This is due to some kind of lack of sukriti or spiritual merit, which is halting us in our progress on the path of bhakti. And if we're honest with ourselves, if we feel our pulse and feel our hearts, we can see, yes, at one point I was so inspired, I was so fired up. Why did I choose to go back out, away from that? There might be so many reasons, but generally the reason is I don't have sufficient faith. I don't have sufficient faith in the name of Krishna. I don't have sufficient faith in the definition of faith as given by Shastra. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kohe Sudrida Nishchoy Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. That all activities, all obligations, all necessities, everything is automatically taken care of if I just dedicate myself on the path of bhakti to Krishna. But I don't have sufficient faith. Why do I not have sufficient faith? Because my sukritis, my spiritual merits are also lacking. Or maybe what was coming to me, I did not receive properly due to my own fault somehow. I did not accept that. I was always keeping something on the back burner. There was one devotee who said to me a couple of years ago, he was with Gurudev for many, many years. And then we were discussing one point, and he said, you know, when Gurudev would say that, it never quite gelled with me. Means he didn't accept it, even though he was in his physical presence for many years. So in that case, the result of that is that if you're not accepting the words, the teachings of Sri Guru, this is actually Guru Aparad. And the result of that is increase of mundanity, because you have distanced yourself from the pure and transcendental teachings of Sri Guru.
Kishori?
Yes?
Can you distinguish doubt from something, from someone saying that doesn't mesh well with me? Because doubt doesn't necessarily mean Guru can remove that.
Yes. So if someone has any doubt in their heart, or that feeling of this isn't meshing well, if they just sit on it and don't clear it or reconcile it, then it can actually eat at their faith in Guru. And Gurudev has always said, again and again and again, I cannot even count how many times I've heard him say it, maybe 1,000, Guru Nishta is the backbone of bhakti. Guru Nishta means firm conviction in the teachings, in the instructions of the spiritual master. That is the backbone of the process or the path of devotion. So Gurudev said, if any doubt comes, if we do not have that doubt removed or reconciled immediately, that doubt can grow inside, that lingering doubt can grow, and even from that, more doubts can start to manifest. And if we don't remove them immediately, it can actually be quite detrimental. He said, even if another Mahabhagavat, a great personality, speaks something which goes in and makes you doubt your Guru, if you do not clear it immediately, if you do not reconcile it immediately, that seed of doubt will go inside, very quickly will grow into like a big tree, and then everything will be destroyed, Gurudev said. So we must not just sit on it, live it, and let it grow within us. If any doubt comes, or this feeling of it's not really grooving with me or gelling with me, then pariprashna, relevant inquiry, is necessary. I'm going to give a personal example. So in 2008, Srila Gurudev told the members of the executive committee of the advisory council of his Sangha, and Sudevi and I happened to be elected to be on that board. So there was some of us present with Srila Gurudev at the time, and he said, very soon I will stop traveling and I will stop giving initiation. I will concentrate on my writing, and others, those who are madhyam, they can start giving initiation, Harinam and Diksha. Now, for all of the years before, Gurudev was speaking very, very strongly about the qualification for those persons who are able to take the role of Guru. And basically it was like, Vacho Vegam, Manasakrodha Vegam, Tasmat Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya. completely surrendered, cent per cent, with no iniquity whatsoever, no attraction, what we've been discussing all of these months. What is the qualification for a real spiritual master who is firmly bound to the lotus feet of Krishna and who has no attraction to anything of this material world whatsoever? It had so happened that one of the persons that he actually mentioned had had some difficulty prior. And so when Gurudev made that statement, I began to doubt very, very greatly. Why is he suddenly changing his definition of guru? And it was sitting in me, and the next morning I sat in the center on the living room floor. I don't know what it was some kind of Mohan. I felt like I just took off all my jewelry, put on white, and sat there like this. And I said, I'm not going on parikrama, I'm not going to kirtan, I'm not doing anything until I can see Gurudev. And I was just pouting on the middle of the living room floor. 7 o'clock in the morning, Sudevi ran to Brajanath Prabhu and told him, Kishori Mohan is sitting in the middle of his living room floor and he won't do anything until he gets to see Gurudev. And I was just really upset, disturbed, because he just threw me. And by 9 o'clock I was in Gurudev's room. And Gurudev's like, what? And I told him everything. I revealed to him, for all of these years you've been saying this. And I named all the qualifications for Sri Guru, that whose heart is saturated with divine love and affection for Krishna, who has no attraction to anything in this material world, 24 hours a day, not even one moment looking toward Maya, completely absorbed, who can give you Krishna because they have it. And every time I was hitting my hand like this, and every time I tapped my hand like that, Gurudev's eyes twinkled. Another star, you could see it was like a star flashing. He was like, yes, yes, yes. And he was very excited that I was replying it back to him. And then I said to him, but Gurudev, I said, you've been telling this for 11 years. Every day, day in and day out. And it's confirmed by all Shastra. But what you told yesterday, it was like it shattered everything. And now I'm confused, I don't understand. So please reconcile. And then Gurudev started to explain. And there was Bhagavat Maharaj there, Padmanabha Maharaj, Shyamrani Didi, Sudevi, others, so many were there. And even Bhagavat Maharaj and Padmanabha Maharaj were questioning, and they started getting involved. What he's trying to say is this and this. And I asked Gurudev, what do you want me to preach? Should I change my preaching on Guru Tattva? Like you've been telling me to preach, like you preach all of these years. Now what should I preach? I don't understand. And he said, you should preach as I preach. Means the Guru Tattva. And then the question came, and especially question Rani Shyamrani was asking him in many different ways, trying to get some clarification on this point. And she kept saying, but Gurudev, I mean, you said this, isn't this the definition of uttam? And the questions were coming, and then she kept asking in many different ways. And then Gurudev stopped, and he said, what? You want that after I leave, everything will just be finished? You want that everything will be finished? Everything I've given will just... He said, it needs to continue somehow. It needs to continue. So those who are madhyam, he said, they can continue. So he gave some concession at that point, according to necessity. And he had previously said that in the future, any uttam will come from this group or any other group. They will manifest. So through that, he gave reconciliation and understanding. But the point was, when that doubt manifested, it was producing doubt in my Gurudev. And because he had always said, clear the doubt immediately, I made that firm resolution that I must see him and clear that doubt immediately. And he was able to pacify my heart by his explanation. And then I was able to go on peacefully. And I continue to this day to preach Guru Tattva as he preached Guru Tattva, as I've heard it from him, as I've learned in his classes and from his books and from Prabhupada's books, because he would always say, same wine, new bottle, same substance. So what we have learned, then we share that. The point is, the function of Guru is to dispel all the doubts of the disciple through the medium of Shastra. Tasmad gurum prapadyeta jigyasu shreya utamam shabde parecha nishnatam brahmanyupasamashram. By the way, Gurudev was very pleased, very happy that I came to ask these questions. I wasn't doing it in a rude way, but I was explaining what was happening to me. And he was happy that I questioned, that I revealed to him my understanding that I had received from him, and then where my doubt was. So, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, one should surrender unto the spiritual master. Trust that person. But ask questions, relevant questions, so that one can progress on the path. And then from there, sevaya, follow those instructions and serve that personality. So the function of Sri Guru, 1, Brahmanyupasamashram. He must be completely absorbed in Parabrahma Shri Krishna. And he must be well versed in all Shastra and be able to remove our doubts through the medium of Shastra. So doubts may come, but if those doubts are not cleared through the association of Vaishnavas, through the association of Sadhu Guru, then we can actually end up in a very dangerous situation. And that is one of the reasons so many became weak. Besides our own lack of sukriti or spiritual merit, so many became weak because we were not previously able to ask questions. So many devotees told me that when they would ask questions, people would say to them, don't ask questions. Just do. Don't ask questions. How can you progress if you cannot hari prashna, relevant inquiry? I need help. We were told that also. As children born in the Krishna consciousness movement, growing up, we learned all sorts of Shastra, Tattva, Siddhanta and everything. We witnessed all kinds of things, people doing things in the name of Scripture and trying to justify their nonsense through the medium of Scripture, and we were able to discern, oh my God, this is completely nonsense. And so many others were going, oh my God, that's nectar, it's transcendental, it's divine. And we see the same thing repeating over and over again. Those who have experienced, they go, oh my God. And those who have not, they're like, oh, that's just wonderful. It's just the way it is. History repeats itself again and again. And the youth somehow does not learn from the experience of those before them, and also does not learn from the words of Guru and from Shastra. So everything is doomed to repeat itself again and again. That's the nature of this material world. Samsara. It's cyclical. And those who do not have the necessary spiritual merit or sukriti, then they have to find out the hard way. And by being smashed again and again in the material world, eventually they will come to the point of that extreme anguish where they cry out to Krishna with a heart full of sincerity. I'm tired of all of the nonsense, all of the duplicity, all of the riffraff, all of the fluff. I want the real thing. Krishna, please help me. Please be merciful to me. And when one cries out from that point, then this is Sharanagati. What is it? Sadanga Sharanagati Hoive Jahar Tahar Prarthana Shune Sri Nanda Kumar. Then Krishna will hear the prayer of that sincere person who's crying from the core of their heart, experiencing the blazing forest fire, the burning suffering of this material world. And he will give his mercy in the form of Sri Guru. That Guru who is endowed with Shri, means Srimati Radhika, who is carrying that mood exclusively of love and devotion to Krishna. So, because of our maybe having placed our faith in those persons and given too much, because we did not bother properly to study Shastra, we did not bother to understand fully or properly what are the qualifications of Guru. We just followed because someone said that's a Guru. And we're like, okay. A lot of times it happens like that. We have a responsibility to ourselves. But if we did not actually take that responsibility unto ourselves to learn about the qualifications, the different levels of Vaishnavas, what Guru, Sadhu and Shastra tell, they should all complement one another. Then when that time comes, we don't realize what's going on. We place our full faith, we place everything in the feet of someone who's looking at you with lust. And then you don't know what happens down the road. You're like, whoa, wait a second, I thought you were my guru, and now you're looking at me like you want to marry me or enjoy me. What's going on with this? Something is wrong in this situation. Wait a second. And then you go, uh-oh. And then, because the process didn't work, then we might doubt that the process works because we did not apply it properly. So we can also look at it from that perspective, that I have done something. Due to my ignorance, now I am suffering. And in that case, we should see, according to this verse in Bhagavatam, that Lord Brahma says, Tatte nukampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam ridvagva purbhir vidadan namaste jivedilyo mukti pade sadaya bhak. For one who understands what is coming to them, this is the result of their own previous actions. I have done something and now I'm bearing the fruit of that. I punched the wall as hard as I could and it was made of cement. Now I have a broken wrist. Whose fault is that? Is it the wall's fault or mine? I did that. So we can look at it from that perspective. But better than that is to see that whatever is coming to me, oh, this is Krishna's mercy to actually teach me something. Be careful. Very early on, upon coming to Srila Gurudev, Sudevi and I endured some very strong, heavy lessons, difficulties in our spiritual lives and in our connection with him as well. It was shocking, but we did go to him. We were thinking maybe we should just take a step back, but Sudevi's like, you know what, he's our guru, let's give him an opportunity to remedy the situation. We're like, yeah, okay, let's do this. So we went to see him. We revealed everything to him. And then he revealed the lesson to us. That why did you go through this situation? So that we could understand the valuable lesson which is coming through that. Don't place your heart and your faith in everyone and everything. Give your attachment to everyone. Only to Guru. Only to Gauranga. Only to Radha and Krishna. Don't give it to everyone so easily. They cannot digest that. Even Guru does not want our love and affection for himself. He only takes that, makes it qualified, and offers it to Krishna. So when we're placing our attachment, our faith, our shraddha, our heart and soul, without doing our due diligence, without having an understanding of anything, and we're doing it in a childlike way. I have $1 million and I want to invest it. So you go to some guy in the street, hey, I'm an astrologer, I can tell you how to invest your money. So when you come to see me, then this happens every day, and I see it locally. Come to see me. I can help you. I can see by looking at your forehead you have some difficulties in your life. Everyone's got difficulties. So that's the first. It's a hook, right? It's like the bait. Oh, you can see I have difficulties. Yes, you had some issues with your parents when you were young. Oh my God, everyone has issues with their parents, don't they? At one time or another? How did you know? And your past life, something happened very, very terribly. Now you need to, if you do this simple thing, it's only 500 rupees. Just do this puja. Then I can erase your problem from the previous life and help you with your parents. And then, okay, I'll do this puja. And then as you're doing the puja, wait, for the ghee you need this much. This is just payment for my services. But for this, you need to offer this many ghee lamps and this and that. And then, oh, that's 1,000 rupees. Oh, I've just noticed another thing in your astrological chart. Baba, it's really bad. You've got a mixture of Saturn and Rahu, and they're pulling on you in different directions. This is going to tear you apart. If you just do this puja and you pay this much, then you will be satisfied. You will be peaceful. And then the next, and the next, and you get fully entrapped in all of these things, and it doesn't end. Just one little thing I've seen in your forehead, you have it. Done. Done. The moment you go for it, you're taken. We have not done our due diligence. What does Sri Guru, what do the Vaishnavas say about all of this? What does our Shastra say about it? If you want pure bhakti, Anyabhilashita shunyam, jnana, karma, adi, anavritam. Adi means and so forth. That means placing your faith also in the astrologers, in the process of yoga, which is leading toward the perfection of attaining mystic powers. Why? On my own strength I will rise and I will gain power. Well, that's diametrically opposite to the mood of Trinada Pisunichena, which is necessary, the humility which is necessary for taking shelter of Sri Harinam Prabhu. So all of these different things which look like or are related to bhakti because maybe they're Indian, this is where things can get a little bit confusing. Bhakti is not Indian. Bhakti is Sanatan. Sanatan means eternal. Right? Jivera Swarupahoy Krishna Nitya Das. Nitya means eternal. Every jiva is an eternal servant of Krishna, but not every jiva always has an Indian body or an American body or a dog body. We're constantly switching and moving from one place to the next, one body to another body. Sometimes within India, going from Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, sometimes to female form, sometimes to tree form, sometimes to insect. We go from so many. All of that is all external. What is the nature of the soul? It is an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. It is meant to love Krishna, and that love is expressed with or through service. Jivera Surupahoy, Krishna Nitya Das. Krishna's eternal servant. That is the reality. All of the other stuff that does not assist in that reality to awaken, if we fall for it, then we can look back and go, oh my God, I did that. I chose that. How or why? Because of being ignorant of the truth. Because of being ignorant of the reality or the truth of the nature of my own soul. And what is the purpose of that? And also by not understanding what is the real Guru versus those who are taking the position of Guru. So many take the position of Guru. You can find everywhere outside. You can go almost to any place and you'll, oh, this, my Guru, my Guru, my Guru. Oh, this one here, we heard, he had his wife get an abortion because he didn't want the kid. This one here, we heard that he's embezzling thousands and thousands of dollars for this and that purpose. This one here, we heard he did this nonsense activity and this thing and that thing. All the rumors go around. But what is the nature of the real Guru? They're not absorbed in all these material things of this world. So if we don't bother to learn how to invest our soul, my father always said it, almost every time I met him, every year, he would say, you're investing your soul. It's not just a little bit of money. You're investing your most valuable treasure. The most valuable thing you possess. Imagine if you had like the most valuable diamond in this world. I think it's the Kohinoor diamond. Worth billions, probably. And you go into just any subji market and you ask for, anyone there to trade you something. Okay, so you can carry a bag of potatoes home and you trade your diamond. We don't understand the value of what we have, and therefore we misappropriate it into something which will not actually give its proper reciprocation. And then we end up in a very bad situation. And we think, they don't know what they're talking about. And then we feel really bad about it. But we didn't actually learn what this is. We didn't study, we didn't do research, we didn't go from shop to shop and hear about it and go to jewelers and everyone else and learn about the treasure we have. So Srimad Bhagavatam tells us in one of these 4 nutshell verses, what is it? I'm trying to remember at the moment, that one should search for the absolute truth through every medium, by every means possible, through every bit of energy that we have, in all ways, in all facets, search for the truth. bhakti, sadhana, is our search. And if we just haphazardly move on that path without actually going deep into the transcendental subject matter, if we just, oh, this preacher came through and said this. Okay, that's nice. Where's the verification for it? Lots of people say stuff. Trust me, I know. Lots of people say stuff. But is that stuff valid? Is it within and aligned with Shastra? Guru is also aligned with Shastra, and so is Sadhu. And just in case we didn't understand Shastra, then Guru is there and Sadhu is there to confirm each other. So I'm going to show you, if you want to have at least a semi-solid, stable foundation, you need a minimum of 3 points. Like this microphone stand. I have props available. These 3 points for us is our system of checks and balances, and it gives us a solid footing. Guru is there, yes, but who confirms Guru? Sadhu and Shastra confirm Guru. Sadhu is there. What confirms Sadhu? Guru and Shastra. Guru might mean other sadhus as well. And Shastra is there also. What confirms Shastra? And how do we understand Shastra? Guru and Sadhu. So Srila Gurudev Maharaj called these kinds of sadhus Sadhu Guru. All real gurus are also sadhus. But those who are in alignment with Sri Guru and Shastra, they are Sadhu Guru. If we take that very safe system of checks and balances, then we can move properly on the path of devotion. So let me come back to the verse by Lord Brahma, Tattenu kampam susavikshamano. I have done this, and now I'm experiencing the result. It doesn't mean that the path is wrong or faulty. Our Gurudev would always say that we should find out, he would say, the loop and hole. It means what kind of hole, what kind of flaw is in our practice that we keep putting the water in the pot but it falls out. We're not able to hold that nectar. What's wrong? Oh, I have too many holes in the pot and I'm not able to hold that nectar which is being given. It means I'm not really properly applying. So if we make the proper endeavor, and that means also we should use our own due diligence, that we have some responsibility to ourselves. What did I do and why did I end up in this situation? Can I attribute it to my leader? Maybe if my leader fell down, then there's a good excuse. But the excuse is also that I accepted that person. If my leader did not fall down, meaning Sri Guru, and I have fallen down, then what have I done? Or what have I not done to properly follow Sri Guru? And then if I find myself in the midst of the material world, completely absorbed in the material energy, then I have to look. What is my flaw that I have ended up in this situation? That now I'm simply absorbed in trying to amass wealth, trying to make money, trying to live comfortably, trying to enjoy my senses, trying to maintain my status and my position and my material comfort, but I have no attraction for Krishna, I have no attraction for his names, I have no attraction really for the association of devotees. I don't really want that, I want this. What happened? What happened? Some deep reflection is necessary. As I told before, and I'm going to mention it again, my father, he told me the year before he passed away that at one point he felt like, at one point in his spiritual journey, many years before, he felt, what happened to me? I was so inspired, I was doing so much. I was chanting and I was going to the temple and going on Harinam Sankirtan for 8 hours a day, distributing books and so much energy for seva. And he said, and now I'm dead, spiritually dead. What happened? And he said he was meditating on it for a couple of years, and finally it became so internally desperate. He thought, if I cannot reconcile this or find this out, I have no reason to maintain my life. And he actually told me, he said, back in that time that he was contemplating giving up his life because it was such a desperate situation. What did I do? Why am I in this situation? And then it came to him, maybe I made some aparad to a Vaishnava. And as he was, this is by the mercy of Krishna, when someone is sincerely praying from such a downtrodden position, in extreme anguish, with this mood, do or die, then Krishna's mercy comes. So Paramatma inside gives the understanding. He directs that wandering, right? Matak smriti jnanam apohanam cha. I am knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So remembrance and knowledge. Because of that sincere prayer, in his heart he thought, maybe I made Vaishnava aparad. And he's reflecting back and back and back and back. When, how, what? Boom! Oh, I ripped up the book of a Mahabhagavat Vaishnava. He didn't even know it was Mahabhagavat. He just thought, I ripped up the book of one of the god brothers of my spiritual master. And I threw it away. I didn't even give it a chance to be read. What kind of person does that, he was thinking. So we heard about it recently, how he secured that copy. And he read it. He was weeping and weeping and weeping. And begging that person within his heart to please forgive him. And then he made a vow to himself, whoever he meets, he will glorify that person and recommend that book to them. So that was Sri Guru and his grace. And as a result of that, then, after some time, within a few years, another pure devotee entered his life. That is our Srila Gurudev, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Swami Maharaj, and gave him shelter, gave him hope, gave him inspiration, so that near the end of his life, he was actually feeling hopeful and searching and trying to chant and go deeper into the more spiritual, esoteric aspects, not wasting as much time as previously and giving much more time for the path of bhakti. I'm just reading here what Jiva wrote. Yes, he said, yes, everything Indian is not bhakti. Often it's mayavad or just something external and temporary. Even Mahaprabhu said varnashram is external. What to speak of Indian body? This is nothing against Indians. This is just a simple fact. The Indian body does not necessarily mean that one is a devotee of Krishna. There's thousands of different faiths in India. There are so many who are doing extreme sinful activities also within India. So just because someone is Indian or born in India does not mean that they've awakened their bhakti. The opportunity might be a little greater to meet with sadhus, but maybe one doesn't have that opportunity according to their own sukriti. There is a very big difference between Hindu or just Indian, I would say Indian, and Sanatan Dharma, or the eternal Dharma of the soul. And somehow these lines have been blurred, and people think that to be born in an Indian family means that one is practicing Sanatan Dharma. And this can create massive amounts of confusion. And it does. Sudevi and I were discussing that so many of the youth in India are very strong atheists. They look at all of the histories, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, everything, and I think they use the word mythology. It's mythology, and they just dismiss it like that. There's one very, very nice young man, very cultured, very dharmic, always serving and everything, and he's qualified, he's got a business, he's got money, he's got everything. And he's also, quite handsome, nice man. And he said so many people came, he's there, they still arrange marriages in India. And he said so many came, but all of the girls who were there, their mood was, oh, we don't want a bhakta, a devotee for a husband. Then we just have to do bhakti and service and everything else. We want to party, we want to go to clubs, we want to drink, we want to eat meat, we want to do this and that. He said so many came to visit, and they just rejected one after another. And we heard the same thing from another young lady She was from a wealthy family, very wealthy family, very qualified in so many ways, and so many boys would come to visit, like for potential marriage, and each one of them rejected her. Why? Because she was wearing neck beads. This is in India, and they're even born Hindu, but they were rejecting her because of her neck beads. And they were thinking, oh, we don't want any meetup high. We don't want any meetup in our life. She'll just be a bhakta we won't be able to enjoy. So they rejected one after another, and her father became so upset he actually broke her neck beads off and said, don't tell them you're a bhakta. Like he became quite upset about it. So we see that this is even going on in India now, today, quite often, and these people are feeling like, I want to be a bhakta, but who wants to meet with a devotee? Who wants to work together on this path? So just being an Indian is not necessarily qualification for bhakti, in the same way that just being in from any other country is not necessarily a qualification. It depends on the sukriti from previous lives, which is present within the heart. I believe Sudevi posted a beautiful quote from Srila Gurudev today on this particular issue, that one can progress regardless of where they are or what their birth is. And according to Shastra, for one to judge a Vaishnava according to their birth, oh, you are great because you're born here, but you are like this. To judge a Vaishnava according to their birth, this is a path which leads to hell. Birth is not the qualification for bhakti. Birth can give one an opportunity, but it can also create a problem. As we told the other day regarding Sadananda Swami, the disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, who took birth in Germany. He was a philosophy professor in the university in Germany, and he met with, I think somebody gave him a book of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada's, and he was reading it, and the philosophy in there was so wonderful. He already knew Sanskrit and Bengali and everything, but it was so wonderful that he actually wrote a letter and said, I want to meet this person, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. The letter came back, he was accepted, and he was told to associate with the two disciples of Saraswati Thakur who were present in Europe at that time. I think it was Bhaktivedanta Maharaj.
Yes. Told him to go to England.
So he went to England to associate there. When he was with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he said something to him. He said, I feel so lowly and unfortunate that due to my birth, I did not have the upbringing that everyone in India has to learn about all of Vedic culture. And Saraswati Thakur, he said, became almost angry. Like, he said, you are so fortunate that you didn't have all of those faulty or wrong impressions that were going to distract your mind and your heart. You're like a blank slate, and I can give you the pure thing without you having to deal with all of these other things, all of these other confusing things, which will distract you from the path of pure bhakti.
He actually said that you should hear from the mouth of God. You should hear His words, not all the words of all these. Hear Gita, hear Srimad Bhagavatam. But also, when I posted that quote online not long ago, it was mostly Indian-bodied devotees or even, associates of ours that were writing in, this is so true. This is so true. How hard it is for our family members. They were writing the things they grew up with in the name of Sanatan Dharma, and how bhakti is so clear and perfect and straight and narrow. So the Indian-bodied bhaktas were very much appreciating that sentiment because it's so clouded here.
So from that perspective, yes, we know that being Indian does not necessarily give one the qualification for bhakti. It gives one an opportunity. But look at India. Millions of people here are also not even associated with Vaishnavism, with Vaishnava Dharma. So according to their own subjective evolution of consciousness, some have faith in one place, some have faith in another place, some are against Vaishnavism very heavily. There's so many millions of different groups and sects within India, And so it's not just Indian which is the qualification for Krishna Bhakti. What is the qualification for Krishna Bhakti Rasa? The intense greedy desire to have it, and that comes by associating with those who truly have it. That's how we started off today's conversation while we were singing Ohe Vaisnava Thakur. Who can remove your anarthas? Who does not have anarthas? Who can give you bhakti? Who has bhakti. They can awaken bhakti in your heart. Bhaktistu bhagavad bhakta sangena parijayate. Bhakta sanjataya bhakta. Bhakti comes from the bhakta. Who has bhakti, devotion in their heart, they can awaken what is inherent within us. And Gopi Janavalava Priya. From Srila Prabhupada's Back to Godhead magazine, volume 1, part 2. The distinction between a lower animal beast and a higher animal man lies in the capacity of his introspection of the soul within. A man devoid of this power of introspection is no better than a beast. This introspection is, however, easily attained by the service of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam uses very strong terms. Any person in a human form who does not use their human form for endeavoring for perfection is no better than a two-legged animal. In other words, visnupada pashu. So that it's not considered actually human if one is only absorbed in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Human means atato brahma jigyasa. Now is the time to begin inquiring about the truth, the absolute truth. And so Sri Sanatan Goswamipada, in his conversation with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shows us how to begin inquiring. These are the existential, foundational, basic questions. 1, who am I? Simple. What am I doing here? Why am I suffering? What is my purpose? What is my goal? Basic, foundational, existential questions. This is the start of human life, according to Shastra. Otherwise, the human form may be there, but it is considered no different from an animal. And also Shastra tells us, Bhagavatam says, Nidehamadyam sulabam sudurlabam plavam sukalpam gurukarnadaram mayanakulyena nabhastateritam umam bhavabdim nataret sa atmaha. One who has achieved this rare human form and all of the opportunities it brings, who does not take advantage of jumping on that boat that Sri Guru is the captain of, even after understanding or receiving so much knowledge. They're no better than a butcher, or atmaha, means a killer of their own souls. Very heavy word. And also in Nitaya Patakamala, Koti Chandra Shishikala, there it says, Se Pashu Boro Durachar. Those who have received so much information, knowledge, transcendental information, and as yet do not take shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, they are no better than Durachar, means wicked, Pashu, animals. Means just wondering what is their purpose. The purpose of animals is only instinct, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. What is the difference between a human and an animal? We do all the same things, but the human has the opportunity to choose, Srila Prabhupada said. To choose whether to remain in this samsara, the repetition of birth and death in this blazing forest fire, or to choose whether to get out. This is our choice. Remain here or to get out. And if we choose to get out, then the process is holding tightly to those ropes of mercy that are descending from Krishna, that is Sri Guru and Vaishnavas, who will pull us out of this well, the well which is on fire, Gurudev said. The well, it is on fire, do you understand? And Sudevi's brother's like, no. He's like, it's on fire, it's a burning well. We have experienced these things, Gurudev said. We have seen, right? These things we have experienced, we have seen these things. So, the well is on fire, and Guru is lowering that rope in and saying, hold on, I will pull you out. This is how we choose to get out. Hold on tightly to the lotus feet of the spiritual master. They are the only way by which we can attain devotional service. No material means can really free us from material problems. it's only like a fly in a spider's web, turning and then turning again and turning again. It actually further binds us more and more. There's no way out of that. Only sarvadharma parityaja, completely surrendering to the lotus feet of Krishna, first in the form of Sri Guru, can we be extracted from this material energy. Maya mugda jivanahi svata Krishna gyan. The jiva on his own power cannot extract himself from Maya, from the illusory energy. By its own power cannot do so. We are too small, too infinitesimal, too easily controlled and manipulated. We cannot by our own power extract us. So Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, has given us Shastra, has given us Guru, who reveals Shastra, and Sadhu, those who reveal Guru and Shastra, to help us to come out of this material entanglement. Okay, this is very interactive. Okay, could I also explain Guru as Uttam versus Madhyam? If Madhyam Adhikari can still fall down. It depends. If Madhyam is beginning level Madhyam, and if they're not taking exclusive shelter of Uttam or Sri Guru, then they can fall down. Those who are higher level, once they've attained the stage of Ruchi and Asakti, then technically they cannot fall down, especially within the Raganuga, Rupanuga path, within the path of spontaneous loving devotion.
But
They can.
Uttam steps down, right?
Yes, so in the case of our Gurudevs, generally we understand that the Uttama devotee, they see that everything is perfectly placed. They see that everyone is serving Krishna. So there's nothing that needs to be done, except we need help. So how do we get help from someone who thinks that we don't need help? So somehow Krishna makes it, and this is explained in Shastra, that the Uttam Mahabhagavat may step into the role of Madhyam. Of course, they would be in Madhyam Uttam, so that they can behave as a Madhyam. Prem, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. Prem means they have love for the Lord. Maitri means they have friendship for like-minded devotees. Kripa means they give mercy to those who are less fortunate. It means that those who are Madhyam, first level, or you could say lower level, Madhyam, and those who are Kanishtas, and those who are fallen conditioned souls in this material world, they can give mercy to them, Kripa, and Upeksha. They also avoid the association of those who are against Krishna, against Krishna's devotees, those who are Mayavadis, those who are atheists, and those who are antagonists. Not someone who's just simply ignorant, but antagonists. They avoid that association. So they behave in a certain way. They function in our lives as our gurus, who can look into our heart and go, oh my God, you need to get rid of this and you need to accept this if you want to progress on the path of bhakti. Whereas the Uttam, in the stage of Uttam, we'll just see, oh, everything is perfect as it is. And then we won't be able to progress properly. So by their mercy, by their presence, the entire universe is continuing. But mercifully they step into the role of Madhyam, like a PhD, MD, ×5, ultra professor, now going into a high school class and teaching high school for a day. So they can step into that role. That does not mean they've lost their qualification, but they're acting within that role. So this is how we see our Guru Varga. Whereas there are some who are coming up from Kanishta into beginning Madhyam. So they're touching on Nishtha. But still, it may be that from that level, if you're coming up, because Srila Gurudev said they have theoretical knowledge, but they have no practical experience. So theoretical knowledge is there, but if you don't have the practical experience, it means you have not really experienced the higher taste. Then it's a very, very fragile situation, in which case they must always be under the guidance of the superior and senior Vaishnavas. And the function of the Madhyam Bhakta, especially that one, if you take shelter of them, is to bring us into the association of the Uttam. In the association of the Uttam, what will they do? Hare Krishna. By their association, by the saffron particles manifesting from their form, by their bhajan, they will give us into the association of those Uttams, or the Uttams who have stepped into the role of Madhyam. So this would be the highest level Madhyam, which is the Madhyam Uttam Vaishnava. From Madhyam, the middle of the middle, we should understand that there are actually unlimited degrees in between. But for our purposes, they've divided it into beginning level Kanishta, middle level Kanishta, upper level Kanishta, beginning level Madhyam, middle level Madhyam, upper level Madhyam, beginning level Uttam, middle level Uttam, topmost level Uttam. So they've given us these 9 different levels, but we should understand that there are so many gradations between. But from Madhyam, Gurudev said very, very, very rare. And that would be the ones coming up, because if they're coming down, it's impossible to fall down. But if they're coming up, then there might be something which can distract them, can pull them away. Mahaprabhu also warns about this. Even the mind of a Mahabhagavat can be pulled into illusion, he said. So we should understand that there are different levels of Mahabhagavats. Not all are the same. So there's Madhyam Mahabhagavat, and there's Uttam Mahabhagavat, and then Uttam Mahabhagavat. So we should have an understanding of these different levels. That's why Rupa Goswami told us in the 5th verse of Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction, that we should be able to assess and understand Vaishnavas according to their levels, so that we can give honor and respect appropriately. Srila Gurudev said, if you give the same respect to a 3rd-class bogus person, calling him an Uttam Mahabhagavat, as the real Uttam Mahabhagavat, then you will be making an offense to the real Uttam Mahabhagavat. Does that make sense? And I'm going to use me as an example. If you place Kishori Mohan on the Vyasa next to Gurudev and start worshipping him the same, one, it'll be extremely embarrassing to me. I will feel offended. And it will also be offensive to Gurudev, because I am not anywhere near his level by billions and trillions of miles. So it would actually be unfortunate all around. So when he says giving the same respect to a 3rd-class bogus person that you are to the Uttam Bhagavat, then this is actually offensive to the real Uttam Bhagavat. So by studying Shastra under the guidance of the pure devotees, we will develop a proper understanding of how to honor Vaishnavas according to their respective levels.
Kishori, what level was Ramaharsha?
Did they ask that question?
No, I did.
Oh gosh, Sudevi just asked me, what level was Ramaharshan? According to the definition of Shastra, first of all, this may be a Leela, so we have to see according to Leela, because those characters who we see in Srimad Bhagavatam are not ordinary. Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, the greatest demons that ever existed, are actually the eternal doorkeepers of Narayan in Vaikuntha. Right? Bharat Maharaj is showing a pastime. He can't really fall down, but he's showing that by attachment to a deer, he fell down and became a deer. Ramaharshan was respected by all of the rishis and sages. 88,000 of them understood that this was the greatest, most learned, saintly person who could explain everything. And so they placed him on the seat of Vyas, or the Vyas Asan, as the representative of Vyasadeva. However, when Baladev Prabhu, the origin of Guru Tattva, Akhanda, the unbroken, complete aspect of Guru, entered that assembly, everyone stood up to greet him, except for the one, Ramaharshan. Everyone saw, but this Ramaharshan did not acknowledge, could not recognize Sri Guru. According to the definitions given in Shastra, this would not even place him on the level of Madhyam. Interestingly enough, what is the nature of Kanishta? They have honor for their own Guru, but don't know how to honor other Vaishnavas properly. So he didn't know how to honor Baladev Prabhu properly, who is the source of all Vaishnava. He is also Ashray, his mood is only made of loving service to Krishna, and he's the source of all Guru Tattva. So he was not able to recognize the source of all Guru, which means he was not actually qualified or fit to be in that position. So Baladev Prabhu simply took a piece of grass and touched him with it. He finished him. Because Baladev Prabhu also does not appreciate pretenders. Those who are taking that role of the greatest Guru being in the highest position, but who don't know. There's so many personalities who are expert in speaking Shastra, who can speak in such a way that millions will be completely amazed, whose hearts will be overflowing with awe, and they will speak Krishna's Leelas in such a way that you will weep profusely. But what is their intention? They might just be expert professional speakers. They might charge in advance. Oh, I will not speak Harikatha unless I make $100,000 first. You give me $100,000, then I'll speak. You give me this much money, then I will do a kirtan. Right? This was extremely frowned upon by all of our Guru Varga. Our Srila Prabhupada said, why do we do kirtan? Why do we give Harikatha? Because Krishna is our master and he told us to do so. Does the servant have any right to make a business out of the order of the master? He said, if any donation comes, then fine. But for us to sell it, he said, we cannot do so. We cannot do so because Krishna has given the order and we're simply the servants of Krishna. So Balaram finished Romaharshan. Now I cannot say exactly what his level is in reality, but according to this Leela and according to the definitions given in Shastra, he's not able to properly honor other Vaishnavas, especially the topmost Vaishnava, means that topmost servant of Krishna who is Baladev Prabhu. Gurudev said every particle of his being is made of loving service to Krishna. So because of that, he was not qualified. Let me just check here. Very interesting conversations today.
Oh, Madhu Mangal liked my question. Thank you, Madhu.
Yeah, Sudevi always likes to ask questions that throw me in a corner and I have to try to wiggle my way out. As Western Europeans, we have a mental impression of atheism on us. It is hard to shake this off. Sometimes being born in a surrounding with faith may not be too bad. I always feel like licking the pot of honey on the outside.
Oh, he liked Karen Copen's question. I thought it was my question.
If we want the real honey, then we must somehow or other avail ourselves, make ourselves available for receiving the association of someone who is actually tasting real honey, real rasa. And even if we don't have the qualification for entering into that ourselves, we can still look at them like this, with our tongue salivating, waiting to get one drop. After they finish taking that rasamalai and they throw that boat, it's a boat, right?
It's
Dona.
a
A little leaf bowl. They throw it. But still some drop is there. That greed, there's no qualification for it. If somehow or other that greed can be manifested, it might be that we're fully absorbed in the material energy. But maybe, just maybe, any sadhu comes along and we have an opportunity to associate with them, to hear from them, or to serve them. Somehow, just to hear one or two words, and whatever we thought was dead inside can reignite. It is possible. Because you know what? Ultimately, it's not dead inside. There is a soul deep inside. And that soul is always alive. It is the life. It is always there. It just needs to have the covering removed. And that's not just the material body. It's all of the material conceptions. Everything needs to be clean. And so the process of that, what will help us? I just have to read something to you and then we will end because it's very late. And then we will continue tomorrow. One thing, and I can tell you from practical experience, maybe coming from a atheistic background or with a little bit of that mindset, this can be somewhat difficult. But more difficult than that can be coming from a spiritual background, but watching so many horrific atrocities being done in the name of religion. This can make you completely give up everything. So just because someone is born in that situation or that situation, we cannot determine which one is more unfavorable. All I can say is that by the grace of Sri Guru, by the grace of a pure devotee, even the reasons which could be to completely reject everything, that can be completely dismissed, and one can take shelter of the path. And Mahabhagavat can reconcile all of that. So really, it is the association of the pure devotees that can erase all of that, and by their association, under their guidance, taking shelter of Sri Harinam Prabhu, then Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Our entire material existence and the blazing forest fire of that material existence and that samsara can be erased.
Just hearing you speak that, I just wanted to add that when we even just chant Srila Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So right there is the answer to that kind of mentality that may have been superimposed on us. That is where you run to for shelter. Who is giving that Gauravani Prachar, and who is kicking out that Nirvisheshan Shunyavad? Our Guru Varg, those pure devotees. And who does it say Srila Prabhupada is? He is that personality who is the servant of his own Sri Guru, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. So it's showing us immediately in that prayer where to run to for shelter. Srila Prabhupada even wrote his own Pranam Mantra. Nobody was there to write it for him. He wrote that. So there, right there is the hope and the excitement and the happiness for the jiva who is caught up in that kind of impersonalism that Srila Prabhupada himself wrote. This is what I have come to kick out, and this is what I have come to give. Gauravani Prachar. So everything is so neatly given right there in Srila Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra, that is where we will find shelter, and that is who will remove those anarthas, our Guru Varg.
Thank you.
It was just inspiring.
No, it's beautiful, powerful. And Jiva Pavan Prabhu just shared something from Srila Prabhupada. I just want to elaborate on that. Our Gurudev mentioned about Bharat. What is the meaning of Bharat? Who is carrying the mood of those who are really following the Sanatan Dharma, or the eternal path of divine love for the Supreme Lord? They are actually residents of Bharat. And so regardless of where they are residing or where they are born, if they're carrying that mood, then Mahaprabhu's teaching that who is from this Bharat Bhumi. Bharat Bhumi is not necessarily a place. Bharat Bhumi is a stage of consciousness. And who has this kind of consciousness should share this wherever they go. So our Gurudev did elaborate on that. I'll find the quote for it later. But I just wanted to end with this because it's so powerful, so beautiful, and so appropriate for this conversation. And it is eloquent and succinct. Those of you who are children, this is from our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Those of you who are children, and those of you who are young, you should always remember that one day you will have to become old. This is for certain. No scientist or doctor can stop your inevitable old age from coming. After some time, you'll have to give up this body and what you have collected in this world. None of your relatives, father, daughter, son, mother, or wife, will go with you. Not a farthing will go with you. That's some kind of currency. Therefore, try to realize the soul and the supersoul, Krishna, in your heart. If you lose this opportunity of human life and are only engaged in collecting money, putting your whole energy into that, then you are more foolish than a donkey. Don't lose this precious life in which, by the grace of Gurudev, we can realize Krishna. Don't be weak. You should work only to maintain your life and try to give all of your energy to Krishna consciousness. Then you can understand all of these essential truths. How important is that? If you give all of your energy to Krishna consciousness, then you can understand all of these essential truths. Now you should hear. Bhakti is very rare. Those who are very fortunate can have it. How? Bhaktistu bhagavad bhakta sangena parijayate satsanga prapyate kumbhi shukritar puva sanchitai. Bhakti becomes manifested by the association of the Lord's devotees. The association of devotees is obtained by previous accumulated piety. That's from Brihad Naradi Purana 4:33. If someone in his past thousands of lives has accumulated a great amount of pious activities, sukriti, in relation to Krishna or his associates, only then will he receive sadhu sangha. Without sukriti, you will be unable to find an elevated and qualified, bona fide guru. That sadhu will tell that without guru, your life will not be successful. If you want to get rid of the pain, quote, this is what the Guru is saying, if you want to get rid of the pain of endless birth and death, if you want to be happy, if you want to have Krishna prema, then you will have to go to a bona fide and very qualified Guru. Spoken by Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauri Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
If there are any questions and different comments, we will definitely sit down and read them and address them tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you so much for all of your participation, your questions, and the dynamic mood here, especially the instigator of this, Keshava Priya Didi, and so many others. All of your comments, Devaki, Susan, Jiva Pavan Prabhu, and Madhu Mangal. Madhu Mangal's adding good stuff now. Woo! Jai. Okay, so we'll read through and get inspiration for tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
राधा की जय, गिरिराज महाराज की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि Thank you all very much for being with us today and staying for so long, giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and so many beautiful conceptions to reflect upon for our own benefit and for the benefit of all. And also, we are completely indebted and extremely grateful that you are also giving us the opportunity to do our Guru Seva, which is our life and soul, every single day. We are so appreciative of that. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna. Radhe
Radhe Radhe. Miriam Mama Uttama. I hope you're feeling better. We're still sending so many prayers for you. Get well soon, Didi.
Yes.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki jai.
Jai.
Shachinandana Gaura Hari
Ki jai.
jai.